Hi, my name is Pablo. I'm a music tech student at the University of West London. My student number is 35112810. So for this assessment, I made a personal development plan to understand where I am right now and what needs to be worked on. And I looked at different parts of my life, like my job, university, music, and a few habits that I want to change through this time. At first, I thought this assessment was only going to help me with setting goals for the future, which would already be a massive help. But it actually made me reflect a lot on how I behave and what's helping me or what's blocking me. So that's a plus. Another thing that it helped me with was to connect certain areas of my life, which in my brain I saw them as separate. Like the examples I mentioned before, my work, university, music, which I was seeing them as separate, but in reality, they all work together. They all affect each other. So if one is affected, the other is going to feel it, and the other one consequently as well. So this assessment helped me with connecting aspects of my life and realizing that they actually work hand in hand. For one to work, I need the other. This being said, I want to talk more in depth about what I realized about my current situation while doing the assessment. And one thing I noticed was that I definitely have quite a few things happening at once right now, and all of those things require time, require energy, require learning. So naturally, the plan became a lot about balance. Not balancing a perfect zen, yin-yang way, but more about how to keep things going, naturally flowing, without one area affecting the other. I also found some strengths that I don't really think about on the day-to-day basis. For example, I learn best by doing. If I can apply what I learn straight away, I'm way more engaged and I'm going to learn much more from it. I do believe, in fact, that that's one of the main reasons why I've been progressing well in the new job that I'm at right now. Because bartending allows me to experiment and apply what I learn straight away. Sometimes I study 5 minutes earlier, 5 minutes later, I'm doing it, I'm practicing it, I'm applying what I learned 5 minutes ago. So I do believe that's a big reason. And I don't think I would have realized it if I hadn't got this time to reflect. Another strength of mine that I explored during this essay was the curiosity. When I'm curious about the subject, I want to dive deeper, I want to understand it without forcing it, which in general is not the case to many subjects. So as long as I'm curious about something, I want to learn it. If I'm not curious, that's a different story, but I guess curiosity does fit into the strengths for this reason. Throughout the completion of this essay, I found that my biggest challenge by far is consistency. When my routine is organized and I'm doing everything that has to be done, I'm juggling all the areas of my life, university, work, every aspect of my life is just in the air and flowing. It works. It's easy to manage. But that's where consistency usually gets me. Because if one ball drops, all the rest drop as well. And I'm not consistent enough with the routine to keep things going until the ball that I dropped comes back to the routine. When that happens, I tend to give all my attention to the ball that dropped and ignore all the others. And then I realize that all of them are being ignored. I focus on another one, and then I focus on another one, and then on another one. And then I'm just fully inconsistent with all the areas of my life, with the routine is all a mess, organization is gone as well. So it just keeps going on a repetitive loop. And with music in this equation is the first thing to always be dropped aside, because in the routine, music is not paying my bills. So definitely a big part of my plan is consistency, prioritizing, and organization. Not in a perfect way, but just enough so things don't collapse when one thing goes wrong. For goals, I separated things into short-term and long-term. In the short term, the main immediate goal is to put music as priority, to give music a real space in my routine. Not just when I have time, because that never happens. So in the plan, I wrote that mornings will be for music and music only, even if small sessions, 20-minute sessions, half-an-hour sessions, that's all better than zero. For the medium term, I set goals like performing live for the first time, releasing more structured projects, and definitely learning more about music production, as now I depend a lot on other people to make my music, for beats, for mixing, for mastering, for anything that involves digital music production. For now, my only comfortable area is with writing and singing and nothing else. So becoming more independent would definitely help a lot. At work, one of my goals is to improve communication with the guests, to speak more clearly, to be concise with my words, and be able to explain the background of the drinks and the cocktails without sounding like a history lesson. I want to sound interesting to the guests. So yeah, improving how I communicate with guests is definitely one of my big plans as well. The plan also talks about habits that I've been changing, and I quit smoking. It's been hard, really hard. But today, as we speak, as I record this video right now, it's my 22nd day without smoking. And I started reading every day. The habit still is going on, and I plan to keep consistent with it. I'm separating every day at least 25, half an hour of my days now for solely reading, which is something I always wanted to do, but I just never did it because I thought it was boring or too long. And it turns out it's actually pretty interesting. And I know these things might sound small for other people, but for me, they're like a proof that I'm capable, I'm able to do the things that I've struggled with my whole life. For example, consistency. I'm being consistent without smoking for 22 days. That's a proof that I'm able to be consistent, and I can apply that consistency to all the other areas in my life. Another thing I included in the essay is support. I'm very, very lucky to have my family, my friends to help me, to guide me whenever I need. And whenever my motivation drops, they help me to come back up and try again. So yeah, having loved ones around to give me the feedback, the necessary feedback, is very important. In the end, when rereading the text, that's a difficult word. When rereading the text, I reflected on how things change, how things are volatile, how plans change, routines change, and we can never be too fixed on one thing only. So I don't expect this plan to stay exactly the same for a long time. I actually hope that it changes and adapts to the new scenarios and new situations that I'm going to live. And I do hope to rewrite it. That's another difficult word to say. I do hope to rewrite it in a different structure with a few changes, necessary changes whenever they are needed. Right now, my focus is definitely not to get things perfect, but to at least do them. Like someone said, which I don't know who, is better done than perfect. So I'm on that journey of at least getting it done, and then I focus on trying to get it perfect. Things go wrong, they will go wrong, and it's on me to keep going and pushing forward, being consistent when that happens. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this meets the criteria. Thank you.